Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. How are we all today? And this is, of course, the time when the dog decides to join me. One of them, anyway. I think she's actually got to the point where, because she can't hear anybody talking to me, she's actually thinks I'm talking to her. So anyway, good afternoon, everybody. We've got a wonderful treat for you today. We have got the fabulous Lance Brooks in the house, who's going to be talking about quantum shifting. And we've got some people starting to come in now. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Belinda Comer. Hi, Belinda. Hope you've recovered from the other day. We've got John Spratt. Hello, 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 John. You're just a busy man at the moment with the kids being off and stuff. We've got Caroline Wallace. Hi, Caroline, again. And the lovely Lance. I'm going to get him. I'll wheel him into the studio in a minute. Into my son's room here because I'm babysitting the dogs today. The fur grandbabies. That's what I like to call them. Hi, Sarah Louise. Good to see you on here. Valerie Cox. Hello, Valerie. How are you? Let's bring, I don't know if you've heard of quantum shifting. I don't have 2 minutes to fart. That's something that I would say. It must be a Scottish saying. Amy Wendling. Hello, Amy, the fabulous woman who has broke 30 grand a month. I hope you don't mind me telling everybody. We have got Elskar Wasfy as well. Well, wait till you see Lance, right? And then you can say the same thing about being sexy. Right? Okay, there you go. We've got Janessa. Hi, Janessa. I look forward to her call just very, very shortly. But listen, before I totally muck it up and stuff, I'm just going to bring him in and he can tell you all about his quantum shifting. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, hi. I know. How are you? Anyway, and you know, I've actually been quite keen to talk to you because you talked about your quantum shifting for ages. And then Lorna me this morning, she was saying it's going to take all his stuff down in that group, and I'm like, so she's panicking about like going through all the content and stuff because you give content, don't you? But before we've great Scottish accent, Laird Paul Andrew Brown. Laird. So if we bought a piece of land up in Scotland, Laird, right, and then called yourself Laird, or actually Laird by birth, all right, you need you fellas in here, yeah. Miss your face, Janessa misses you. Look, I'm going to put some of these contents up.
Oh,
June.
Miss you too.
Yeah, June. Listen, Lance might have some illumination and advice for you from the quantum realm. So, stick around. Caroline Wallace. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, Caroline, look at her.
And
hey, Belinda.
Well, yeah, we've got Norma. And, you know, Janessa is going through them all. Here we go. And they're all saying hello. They're all delighted to see you here. So come on, Lance, tell us about quantum shifting. Yeah, the quantum. Yeah, tell us about your work.
Well,
what you've been doing.
One of the things about quantum shift that we have to understand, and most people don't, is that it's really no such thing as matter. We've been taught that. We've been taught that things are matter. John Serrata.
Hang on a minute, Lance. Right, so we've got John that actually has bought a bit of grass, 1 foot by 1 foot, and is a laird also. But it appears that Laird Paul, no, it come with a title and land in Glencoe. Well, look at that. My goodness. So we've just been like John's actually the one with a bit of grass, right? And then we've got a laird. So we're honoured to have you here. How's about that then? Right. But we need to get to Lance now. We can talk grass another time.
Yeah, I have to buy some grass in Scotland, so I can.
You have to buy some grass, yeah. Oh, exactly.
But back to quantum shifts, he said, Lance, absolutely amazing. Thank you, darling. Looking mighty fine, Lance. Oh, thank you, Angie. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Exactly. Exactly.
But, you know, but this thing about quantum shift that I found out that a lot of people believe that matter, like this matter, like what you see behind me, all of that is real, but really matter is an illusion. It's just molecules vibrating at a high frequency. It's just vibrating. Knowing that when you know that everything is matter vibrating at a high frequency, even our skin, when we put our body under a high power microscope, you just see atoms vibrating at a higher frequency. So knowing that, you know that you can reshape things. You can reshape things based on, first of all, you got to believe it. You got to believe. You can't trick yourself into believing. You got to embody that belief. You know, you're only going to act on something that you believe. That you believe that the house is going to burn down. If you leave the stove on, you're going to turn it off, right? You know, so you're going to only act on what you believe is true, right? But what if you can trick the mind? You can trick the mind into believing something that is not there, but you make it there. And that's the subconscious mind. The subconscious is not reasoning, it's just taking in information that you believe is true. And that's through feeling, right? Thank you, Jeanette. Amazing, man. And that's through feeling, right? So when we step into that quantum field, everything is vibrating at a higher frequency, atoms, right? So now we're looking at things quantumly now, not the way that they taught us, okay? When we do that, we step into a flow of impossibilities then. How can I reshape my life based on what I believe is true? Well, number one thing is you got to bring everything is happening at one time. The present, the past, the future. You probably heard of that. Just watch Ant-Man. You see everything happening at one time, right? When you know that, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. You can select. So you have the poor side of you, you have the rich side of you, you have the healthy side of you, you have the unhealthy side of you, all happening at one time. Those are called states of mind, states of consciousness. When we know that, we just select what we want and then embody that selection. If we want to be healthy, we select health. It's not just eating, because you can eat good food, you can do this and still think you're unhealthy, you will be unhealthy. But embody that healthy belief. Stop talking and start doing things around people that are, unhealthy. Stop talking negative thoughts. That's one. Another one is start speaking in the present. Start writing in your journal using I am or the word I. Start using that. So now you're bringing things into the present tense because everything is happening now. That person that you want to be or have them do, you're bringing it into the present tense. When you constantly repeat that over and over and over, hey, Noreen, how you doing? Truly helps shift mindsets. Thank you, darling. That's what I do. I transform people's lives. When we start doing that, that's the sweet spot. That's when the magic start happening. I've been reading about lighting. Yeah, and so glad to hear you talk about this. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. So when we do that, we're reshaping because we're shifting. Everything starts with us. Hey, hello, Stacy. Hello, Nancy. But everything starts with us. Everything starts with us in the mind, right? If you believe that men are no good, all men are shit, right? And you get with your girlfriends and you start talking about how all the good ones are gone and all that stuff, it will be true for you, not necessarily for the other person. Why? Because you stepped into a quantum realm, and the only thing you're selecting, whether you know it or not, you're selecting shit men. And that's what you're going to experience, right? So knowing that, like Lana Black, for example, she wanted to sell her house. She stepped into a quantum field of believing that her house is sold. Lana will tell you that everyone told her that she was bonkers because she kept saying, my house is sold, my house is sold, my house is sold, my house is sold. I have a sold house, my house is sold. And there was like, it's a for sale sign outside of your flat. How can your house be sold and you have a for sale sign right outside the door, right? She still walked in that state. She chose a quantum belief. And everything reshaped itself according to that. And then, we was like, for shits and giggles, let's go above what you had just put your house listed as. For shits and giggles. And she did that. She did it. We're not going to say the number, but it's a really good number, right? Thousands of pounds, put it that way. So anyway, she did that. Lord and behold, everything. Now, how it's going to happen, that's none of the business. Why? Because you believe that it's already happened, right? All of a sudden, couple of weeks of doing the work, believing that it's true, embodying that belief, even though everyone was calling her bonkers. She got a call from her realtor that this person is selling their flat and asked if you could take your flat off the market for 2 weeks, I'll give you above the price. And it was the exact number that she had said. The exact number to the last pound, that number. And she was like, holy shit. In fact, she was on a live with me. She was on a live, a group live with me. And she said, Lance, she came back on the live and said, it happened like that. It happened. Everything molded itself to your belief. See what the quantum mold is what you constantly believe. You're putting a mold in the quantum field, and then those atoms start collecting itself and reshaping itself to be exactly that. It's a discipline of the mind to do that. That's really what the 12 disciples are in the Bible. They're really 12 disciplines of the mind. That's why the word disciple and discipline sound alike. It's discipline the mind to believe what is true. And what I do is I teach you what those disciplines are, how to reshape that mind, and then things start happening. Noreen would tell you the same thing, that she did the same thing on her phone app, looking at her bank account, and she was already picturing and feeling that it's hundreds of thousands of dollars of, not hundred, but 20 or some $1,000 above that count. Everything molded itself according to that belief. To the point, this is what happened. Now, this don't happen every day. The bank called her. She was taking her dog out for a walk in the morning. She got back. The bank called her that she don't bank with. She don't even bank with this bank. For at least 3 years, she haven't banked with this bank. They called her and said, hey, we have a check to send you, and we want to let you know in advance so you won't think that it's junk coming in the mail, right? And she was like, why this check? And she said, well, it's because we had this kind of error that we had, so we just want to send you the check and make it right. Now, why would it happen at that time when she's been doing the work for 2 weeks, just doing it, giving her mind that? And then all of a sudden, it showed up. And then she said, well, what is the amount? She was thinking maybe a few dollars, something like that, nothing serious. And it was actually $1,000 above exactly what she asked for, because she made that mold in her belief, quantum shifting things, not looking at what it says inside of her bank account on that app, but seeing what she saw. And everything shaped itself to the point that she said, can you repeat that number again? She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. She's like, can you repeat that number again? And that number showed up. See, there she goes. She said, yes, it showed up. It showed up with Janessa. Janessa, she's on here. I'm using people that's on. Janessa, she wanted to have a B&B in 2020, right? 2020, that's her dream, to have a B&B. So I kept telling her, congratulations, you have B&B, right? She lives in Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States. The B&B that she wanted is at the tip of Maine. Now, Maine supplies the United States with, I know Lara is not going to like this, but 90% of fresh lobster for the United States. That's what it supplies. I know seafood. I know she's an Atlantean. It's talk about her relatives. So anyway, what she kept doing is believing. Now she said that my credit wasn't. She said I had the worst credit in history at that time. Okay, and she said I had no money in the bank account. They don't do that for people that have that, but because the quantum field is not judging. It's not judging. So she started walking in that state. Her sister argued with her and told her she was crazy. She had lost your damn mind, right? But she kept doing the work. See, most people walk by what they see. It's true, the matter around them. She quantumly started believing. She was in my group coaching. That's what she said, she missed it. So I had started a new group coaching, leveling up even higher, called the Quantum Shift. Now Janessa have clients that rent her place out. She got her first booking the first week of 2021. She closed, I think, December or November of 2020, and she got her first booking of a B&B in 2021, the first week, and she's been snowballing ever since. She went to Vegas not too long ago. She said, absolutely, what a gift. All of that happened when society says you got to have the money, you got to have the credit, you got to have this. But the quantum field said, bullshit. The quantum field is like this. And you believe it, everything shapes it, because it's not judging. It's not judging based on what you have in your hand, what you do, this and that. It's judging based on how you are shaping that molding. And then everything starts showing up. That's why I always say, how is none of your business. There's infinite number of ways to make it happen. So that's a little snapshot of what I do in the quantum shift, the success rates that you have. They have seen it. They're here to testify on that, to tell you, yeah, it happened. So a lot of magic happened with everyone that was in that group. A lot of magic happened. Some people that wanted to be a millionaires, they got invited to this Zoom club that there are millionaires in it. And they was invited. Not they asked anyone, or they was invited in to be around millionaires in the Zoom club. They call it the Millionaire Baller Club. That's what she wanted. And everything molded itself to that belief. Now, why would all of this magic start happening inside that group? We can say luck if it happened to one person. We can say coincidence when it happened to another person. When it started happening to 3, 4, 5, everybody showing their testimonials, That's not luck, that's a strategy. That's when things start showing up. So that's what I do in the quantum shift, showing people how to make that happen. She said, yes, a lot of Neville Gardner's teach. Exactly. That's one of my guys. Neville does teach that. He touched that from the biblical level, and that's what I do also. But this quantum thing is dealing with consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. When you take your mind off something, let's say your relationship that you have with your husband or spouse, if you take your mind off of them, they call that neglect. And what happened to the relationship? It started deteriorating. Why? Because you're not holding it with that energy of thought, right? So always start with that. Jeanette said last year, always over delivers, and we'll be leaping over summer, leaping after summer. Yeah, yeah. So come on into quantum shift, Jeanette. I know you was talking about it. So a lot of people are pouring into that. So what is the quantum shift, and if you probably want to get into the price and all of that, right? What the quantum shift, it starts every Monday because we're gonna have a lot of work to go through. You know, so every Monday at Eastern Standard Time at 9 a.m. is when we go live. You inside a private group session, with everyone like minds work together. It's an old saying, birds of a feather flock together, but this is the hint. They land in the same destination. So you don't like your destination, look at your flock around you. Maybe.
Exactly. Before we go into the group and stuff like that, I would love to hear a bit of your stories. I'm sure everybody else here. And Helios, you haven't missed it, right? We're still there, right? He's been practicing the law of attraction. But what Lance is talking about, right, is more to do with like imprinting and taking from energy and making it become a reality. Now, how I would call that is called collapsing reality, right? And that's a technique that probably Lance will be teaching in his quantum shifting as well, right? Is that in order to create the space, you have to shift.
Yep, you have to shift.
Disrupt. You'll be told stuff that you won't like, right? There might be, some, liberal language. There would be stuff that you're not going to be predictable in, right? But all of it's designed that if you want results, right, then you have to do what you haven't done before, right?
Yeah.
Or be where you are right now. That's the way that I would look at it. Be where you are right now. And nobody wants to be there because it's painful. Growth can be painful, but at least you get something as a result of it. I saw something today, you see, it said, if you want an easy life, right, do what's hard. And if you want a hard life, do what's easy.
I like that.
Right? I like that as well, right? Because how many times have we went out of doing stuff and thought, I'm not going to do that. That's like the hard option. And life's got to be easier than that. But in actual fact, by doing the hard stuff, you get the easy life at the end of it. Right? And so sometimes like investing in yourself is seen as a cost rather than an investment. When you're paying something, actually magic happens when you do that. I'm living testimony. Magic happens. When you pay it forward, you pay for coaching, you pay for that inspiration, you pay for somebody to have that knowledge and that ability and that gift to say the things, do the things, give you the exercise, give you the accountability to make those shifts and shift you into a place where you can have that space where you can bring from the energy in the quantum realm into reality so that you can benefit from that. Or you might want to discard it and then keep going, right? But nevertheless, we do create a reality, good or bad, don't we?
Yeah. We create it good or bad, and we don't create it just by saying it with our mouth. We create it by what we constantly say in our mind. What we constantly, that chatter, but that dominant chatter. If you don't believe it, it will show up. Another case, one client of mine that, in fact, he's hiring me for the next 6 months. What happened to him is that he was working at MailChimp. You guys familiar with MailChimp, right? And he was making pretty good money, but it was more in the tank for him. And he invested in himself, like Lara had mentioned. He invested in himself. Me and him got together, started doing the work, and then he reached out, and then someone from Netflix. Now he didn't even apply for Netflix. Someone from Netflix heard about him and then contacted him, asked him if he's interested in it. Now he was. I told him it's going to show up now. Watch it happen. All right, because you're doing the work, it will happen. Now he's at Netflix, right, working from his home, and he's making almost 3 times of what he was making at Mailchimp. He was making 6 figures at Mailchimp, so he's making, he's making a lot of coin. Let's put it that way. In fact, I was invited to his party this past Saturday, just his farewell party with all his Mailchimp friends, and he said, put it this way: one of their departments, their budget annually is $21 billion for a department. $1 billion. That's one budget for a department. He said when they gave him the offer, the financial offer, he said he just froze with a smile on his face, and he said, "I could not believe what they just said." And then they thought that it had a issue that the screen froze. And they kept asking, "Are you there? Are you there? Do we have a bad connection?" And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm here. Can you repeat that again?"
When you say that they had 21 billion to invest in an apartment, do you mean to build an apartment or?
No. At Netflix, one of their departments in Netflix
right.
has a budget of 21 billion.
21 billion
No,
could go.
no, and 21 billion. That's what he told me. He said he can't believe the amount of money that that they have. Netflix is, it's like Apple. It's a company that everybody knows around the world, right? And he said just the department alone, 21 billion. Wow, like that. So just imagine what their salary is like. And he's the manager in that. So what he wants to do is level up and move to director. So he's like, look, I'm hiring you for 6 months, and I may be hiring you for another 6 months. So he's already all full in, and that's just one-on-one coaching.
When are we going to the parties, Lance? When are we going?
Exactly. So I'm getting you in.
FaceTimed me in for Saturday, honestly.
Yeah, I'm pulling you in. But I was like, wow, really? He said, my salary, let's put it this way, I couldn't believe what they said. He said, I just froze.
I'm sure you told me about that, Brian. I was like, wow, that's incredible. It is incredible. In fact, both Noreen and I are going, right? You just have to have 2 phones, right? We'll be on each phone, right? And you can just FaceTime us in. Norma's saying, I've had to work on things to get to there. And I'm today just over 8 years. I was over £5,000 that owed to a money lender, but I have worked in it. And just over 2 years ago, I'd paid it all back. And now I can only get what I can pay for. And I don't owe anyone anything. And that makes me feel good. Right. So you made a conscious decision.
Yep.
And then the universe conspired to help you do it. Right.
But it was a consistent conscious decision. It just wasn't a fading thought. It was something that she consistently believed, and then she acted on it.
Yep. Whereas Noreen's saying, yes, I was totally, I can totally attest to that. My life changed and decided to invest in myself. My thinking mind came up with excuses of can't, and I listened to my intuition that shouted, yes! And I've had amazing results ever since. There's Noreen, I like that. My monkey mind, my thinking mind. That's right. Because we're trained into thinking, because that's how we're educated at school, isn't it? When in actual fact, it's already too late by the time you're thinking. That's just the mind's protective system, isn't it? To keep you safe, because it's anticipating danger and you're going to be in this shit if you do this. But actually, if you hear it, it tells you that with everything.
Yeah, so the mind wants you to keep safe. And I always tell people, if you want to stay safe and you feel security, you want that security and stay safe, but you don't want to step outside the comfort zone, because there's no growth in the comfort zone. There's no growth. It's just maintaining the status quo. But if you want security and want to grow, I always say, well, go live in the prison. They have a lot of security there. You can go live there. Go live in a safe if you want to be safe. But you can't get out of life alive. You can't. We're going to die anyway. So you might as well take some chances on yourself. Invest in yourself. We'll buy that purse. We'll buy those shoes. We'll buy those clothes. And that's when we're spending. Now, when we're spending, the mind don't expect nothing more than what we got. No more. But when we invest, now the mind looking for a return. We want greater than what we got from that. That's the difference between spending and investing. You come in at this to go to that. You're expecting a return. See, that's a quantum thing right there, because the expectation out there now. I'm expecting more than what I have. So that's the
Sometimes
difference.
sometimes we do that, and I'm sure people on here, so I'm going to put it out there as well, right? So we tend to do that energetically with everything, because everything's energy. That if you're putting energy and expending energy in a certain area, it's a natural thing to expect that back, right? In some way, shape, or form. But you can't go focusing on it, right? Because it's a natural byproduct when you get a result from that, right? By adhering to what Lance is saying, and somebody's saying about face reading. Okay, right. Sorry, we're streaming to my YouTube channel, and somebody's on about the face reading, thing that I do, and they've just come.
Okay.
What? I know. So, like the quantum shifting, right, and bringing it into reality, right? Basically, that's what we're talking about. When you're putting energy in, right, you have to know that principle that you're talking about, don't you? And how to, and it takes practice and it takes repetition, right? And we're going to fall off the wagon, and we need that kick up the ass to get back on, that accountability. And that's what your group's about, isn't it? It's having the accountability, the pack, leadership mentality type thing, and all helping each other as well, through the tough times as well as the good times, but generally for absolutely exponentially catapulting life into a new direction.
Yeah, it's everybody going together. Just my last group, everybody, we call it a family, because everybody was rooting for each other, having each other. That's being of the same feather, and everybody started acquiring the things that they want, in life. That's like last Monday in the quantum shift, we covered intentions, creation, and that formula of intentions and creation. What we have to do to get rid of the monkey mind, what we have to do to start programming the mind to shift, just a little shift towards that way instead of this way, like that. Some of the things that we tell ourselves, what we got to remind ourselves, how we got to stay present, not just saying words, but explaining how, breaking it down to the meats and, to the little bits of it, breaking it down on the how you do this. This is what I need to do every single day. And then getting check-ins throughout the week. We always have 3 goals in the quantum shift every week. Every week, you got to have 3 goals. It don't have to be, it can be for as cleaning the house or whatever, or it can be something huge, but it doesn't matter. But 3 goals. And then at the end of the week, we celebrate those goals. At least complete one or half of one or all 3. We celebrate those. So now we constantly getting the mind every single week on goal oriented and smashing those things, and then it starts snowballing to bigger things, because the mind starts thinking, what else I can do? 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 And things start ramping up a lot higher. Then you find yourself going further and faster using less energy when you start operating that. But it's a muscle that we have to do. The mind is a muscle. That means that it can be developed. We can always push that mind. And said the feeling is the key. Yeah, feel it, you get excited. Yeah, the feeling is the key. First of all, is thought, right? That's the selecting. But we select by way of desire, right? Margaret says, by helping others, I have learned to make myself a better me. Money is not everything, and you have to know that health is, health and what is not. Yeah, money is not everything. Money is not everything. In fact, money is not power, really. People think money is power. Now, money can help you have options. Money can help you all of that, but money is not power, right? What the real power is what is inside of you, right? If you're only going to grow.
Power is power. Money is money. Knowledge is knowledge, right? Knowledge isn't power. It's what you do with what you know.
Right.
Right.
But people think I get the money, I get the power. There's a lot of people have a lot of money and miserable.
Choices.
Choices. It give you options. It give you options and give you choices. It's what you do with it. But how to acquire the money? The reason why I say money is not power, because the power to accumulate that money that you just got, that's the real power. Now the money can give you choices. But remember, before you had money, you had that power still within you to attract it, to accumulate it. Now you use what you got to double it, because now you got more options to be able to expand upon that. She said, I want money. I love money. That's not loud. Now, there's nothing wrong with love. There's nothing wrong with loving. There's nothing wrong with loving money, but also make sure that you love the thing that attracts the money. That's the real thing. Love is the energy, right? So, and a lot of times people equate money with love. You heard that old thing, the love of money is the root of all evil and stuff like that. Well, it was talking about the energy you have. Your birthright is creative power. That's your birthright. You have the creative power. What's the difference between a wealthy guy and a poor guy? It's the way they think. That's how they think. That's it, right? That's why you hear stories of people that were just shit poor, and then they end up being wealthy as hell. Being generational wealth, billionaires and stuff like that. What happened? How they're so special, And all of it was changing the way they think, changing the environment, and constantly compounding on it, stacking up those beliefs. And then it starts showing up. There's no secret to it. That's the truth. Understand the universal laws, not just the law of attraction, but also the law of oneness. If we're jealous of someone or competing with someone, that's a energy of poverty, really, because you're saying that I got to get it before they get it. But the universe is vast; it's enough for everybody. When we think like that, that's abundant mindset versus competing, mindset. She said, "I'm not rich by material things, but I'm rich in friends." Right? So she's looking at it from an abundant standpoint. I'm not looking at what I don't have. I'm looking at what I do have, and that's the friends. Hey, Gail, how are you? We got to fly birds together. We got to fly our falcons. I haven't forgot about you. She said, to me, money can't buy you the important things in life. Sometimes the poor people are the richest people in the world. Yeah, but see, the thing about it is, are you poor in thought? You can be wealthy in finances, but poor in thought. And see, that's a quantum thing also. She said, Margaret says, by helping others, I have learned to make myself a better me. Money is not everything, and you have to know what is health and what is not. Yeah, you're exactly right. I like the cat, by the way. But that's Facebook. Okay, who is that Facebook user?
You have to be following my page. If one of my pages, it could be in a different page. So we celebrate other people wins rather than compete. We raise them up, and ourselves at the same time. And that's a rising tide lifts all boats, right? But the thing is, we're not taught in school, right? Because we've kind of digressed, not just from like bringing into reality, by going into the quantum realm. We're talking about money now, and money is just a currency or a way to measure a certain type of energy. But what they don't tell you, Janet, it's you. Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you out here. What they don't tell you, and when you go through school and that, is it's more important than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And then we tell ourselves a pile of shit by saying, it's not important, we can't do this. Listen, it's what would you rather have? Happy life and the ability to make choices, or a miserable life and tell yourself that it's okay to be poor?
Yeah. And right? that's a lot of times you hear that in religion also.
They don't tell you that actually one of the main things, right, that one of your jobs, right, there's not very many actually, right, really is protect your energy, and it's okay to aim for the money, right? And by that I mean aim for what you're good at, right, but command it, demand it, right? And I don't mean chucking your toys at the pram and throwing your handbag around or whatever. It's money's important, because I'll tell you what, you can't eat, right? You can't pay your bills with other people's, grateful, comments and stuff like that, right? Try doing that. And they'll tell you that to get away with free stuff and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, if you're always skint, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. Right? It's always saying that it's hard.
Can't buy help. I tell you what, listen, I know people that would have, if it hadn't been for them having money, they wouldn't have been able to treat certain health conditions and they wouldn't have survived, right? So that's kind of like a fallacy as well. And this is me, we're digressing onto this, but just to say that's negative conditioning. This is stuff that people tell you, right? It's all a pile of shit, get rid of it, right?
Yeah, and it's by design too. It's by design to tell the masses that, like they don't teach business in school.
To keep you in a place.
Right.
Money is an IOU. I quite like that one, so that's it. Yeah. Money is an IOU. It is. It's right. Right. Money, like cash, is actually a check. It is. It's an IOU. You're absolutely right. Who the hell thought that? Yeah. I remember for somebody and I took a painted stone in exchange. There always has to be an exchange. Here we go.
I remember this gentleman said, money is not everything. It's not the most important thing, but it's right up there with oxygen. He says it's right up there with oxygen as one of the most important things, right? Because it give us opportunities. If you want to really help someone, especially like some charity organizations and things like that, well, money helps that. And we have to get rid of that belief that money is, is a bad thing and to put a sour taste in your mouth. It does give you options. It does give you options. Remember, money is a tool, no more, no less. It's what you do with it. But you use tools to fix things. You use tools to build things. You use tools to straighten things out, right? And money is that. But if you're not going to use that tool, it's going to be hard to fix it. It's an old saying, it's hard to do spiritual work on an empty stomach.
Oh, it is. That's right. You could fast, I suppose, but you only go so long before you'll come unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. Some of us go there more often than others, right? I've seen people do it time and time again. And the thing is, it's to do with their mindset, their inability to shift. That sometimes, no matter how rich they are in money, right, in in attitude, in like abundance and friendship,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing, that they end up always going back there, don't they? Because they've got a poor wealth mindset. They've not learned the tools that's going to take them to the next stage, right? And we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. I mean, and I think that it's just pride that sometimes stops us asking, or going forward and paying for a coach, or a program, or paying to be part of a community, right? Mm-hmm. Where you don't just learn from the person that's teaching there, but you learn from everybody else in there. Or I think it's a fool that doesn't, right? It's not just about who's teaching, it's about who's also there too. That's right, Ange. You love money and money loves you.
Yeah, there you go.
Keeps you warm in bed. Right?
Yeah, but it's just saying that life is like a boomerang. Whatever you throw out, it comes back, but it comes back bigger. You throw out that, money comes to me easily and effortlessly. It flows to me. I have a good relationship with money. Money don't rule over me. I rule over it. I command it to come to me. In fact, I had a client that called money a name. He called him John, and he said, because I feel better if I call it a name, then I can tell it to come here or I can tell it to leave. And I always tell it to come in. John, you're welcome. John, you're welcome. Come in, John. And she kept saying that. And money was showing up. Money just came up in all kind of ways,
So that's right. So we should give them names. We should call, that's John, right? Yeah. That's Susan over there. That's Peter. Right, come on in, John, Susan, and Peter. Take a seat. Yeah. That would be funny.
Showing up. Yeah, she started showing up. She was commanding it to show up, and that's based on her belief system. She got rid of the belief system that money is, it's poor, and if you heard of the thing of just rich assholes and stuff like that. When we do that, we're vibrating at a lower frequency. What we're saying is, I don't want money in my life because I will be a rich asshole. Well, it's a lot of good people that have money. It's a lot of good people that do anonymous donations. I remember, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. This older lady ended up, during the winters, her house caught on fire, electrical, and she lost everything. She lost everything. She was in her 80s, lost everything. It was on the news. An anonymous donor bought her a brand new house, land paid for everything, bought her, and then put furniture all in because she lost everything, and then put $25,000 into her account for her. And he just wanted to be anonymous.
$25,000 in account?
He put $25,000 in her bank account, bought her a brand new house. No one lived in, freshly built. In fact, she had to stay with family for 2 weeks before they finished building the house, because the house was in a very nice neighborhood, because she lived in a poor neighborhood, very bad neighborhood, in a very nice neighborhood. House paid for, brand new furniture, and $20,000 in her account. And then because she did that, guess what else happened? Around New Year's, another anonymous donor bought her a brand new car.
So you see, here's the question now. Did she manifest that?
Yeah, I believe she did. Her house was old. It was really old, really bad, old, in a really rough neighborhood, drug-infested neighborhood and all of that, and gang members and stuff like that. Now she lives in a very nice very nice, middle class neighborhood, and she's financially free when it comes to the house, you know. And then this the thing about it, what really pissed everybody off is that the bank, she still owed, even though she was old, she still owed just $10,000 on her house, and the bank would not allow her to write it off. That was the best thing happened to her, that the bank did not allow her to write off, and she didn't know what to do. It was the best thing that happened to her because it pissed a lot of rich people off that we call rich bastards. They all selfish and all this and that. And they started buying, things for like, we're gonna fix this. Paid off the loan, $10,000. The other one bought her a house, furniture, and the other wealthy person, bought her a brand new car. And then she got $20,000 inside her bank account. So yeah, she created it, but who she created it through? Well, most people say rich people are selfish. We don't hear about the rich people that help the world, that help people. It's good people out there too, just as much as it's rich bad people, it's rich good people too. She said maybe that's why I have no friends. I love money too much. She said, "Hi guys."
Well, yeah, I love people. I love people a lot. We probably love more than money. It's just that you've probably learned that without money, some of the things that you want to make you happy aren't possible, right? Yeah. You don't really, do you ever see any friendless rich people?
No, not really. But my question is always, do they have real friends? And most of the rich people that I have noticed, that their friends are the ones that they met with, at their roots, before all of the house, the
Yeah,
car,
their
all
friends
of
are different. They tend to hang out with people that are like similar to them, right? And their
it. Hmm.
friendships are different. They live their life and do stuff that a lot of people wouldn't do, right?
Hmm.
To make sure they stay ahead, and they do the things that a lot of people won't do to get where they are in the money, and they tend to sort of group like pack mentality with other people that do the same. So their
Exactly.
friendships are different, right?
Hmm.
When you're sleeping, they're up at 4 a.m. and doing stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. So they put themselves in an environment. And that's what I had shaped the quantum shift, like I had did the jog vlog, putting people inside of an environment. So now they have immersion. They're around the like-minded people, throughout the week. They got a place that they can escape to. What Janessa says, she says, that's funny. I'm just reading all on your life.
That's funny. I have a book that I'm going to have an artesian shop. We have an artesian shop in Dumfries, and this
Okay.
yellow home with horses. I looked on my
Mm.
money and I saw I have an insurance policy out there. I believe. All right. I believe. That's good. We're going to work it down now because you will be back tomorrow, right? So we're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
part 2 tomorrow as well. So guys, I do invite you back tomorrow, 2 p.m. UK time, 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Eastern time, isn't it?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that right?
Yeah. That's 2 p.m. That's 9 a.m. Eastern time.
That's right. Tomorrow, right? So we're going to do part 2. I know Lance has probably said a lot of information here to twist your head, but let me tell you, right? If you don't ask, you don't get, right? If you're there and what Lance is resonating with, and you've studied the law of attraction, and you've looked at The Secret, and all these books and videos and stuff that tells you what to do, and it hasn't quite worked out for you, and you realize there's something missing, this is the missing part. And so if you really want to manifest, if you really want to bring that abundance, you want to go into the quantum realm, learn how to do that with a great group of people, then send Lance Brooks a PM, right? And he'll send you the details and welcome you on board. All right.
Yeah.
So he will. And he'll tell you what's involved in that, like what you'll be doing every week. If it's, is it daily or weekly or whatever that you're doing that?
Well, actually, we meet every Monday because you have enough work they're gonna take you throughout the week, and then you have me checking in, seeing where you are, and, then also you can message me, but seeing where you are, throughout the week and adding little tidbits because I always give more, like Janessa had put down there. I always give more than what you expect. That's the key. You expect this much, you get this much. And that's what we do throughout the week because we're setting the mind to knock down these goals. We only have 6 months, more months. This is the first month of the last 6 months of this year. This is the first month of the last 6. So we're on the back half of this year. On the back half. So those goals that you have, let's get the cracking. Let's get the going on it. Let's not knocking them down and leveling up.
Exactly. Let's get ready to rumble. Thank you so much for popping on here today. We've learned loads, right? And there's going to be a shitload of people like stampeding onto your program. Helios, you're on. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow at part 2. I'm going to say bye-bye for just now. I'm going to say bye-bye to everybody here. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. And wants to know what's the prize. But listen, message him and he'll let you know, right? And then you can maybe, connect backwards and forwards and see what's what, with that.
Just send me a message.
It's not massively expensive, but remember, everything's an investment, right? And you show up for the universe shows up for you. All right, it is that simple. All right, It's like anything. If you show up for money, it'll show up for you. If you show up for love, it'll show up for you. If you show up for I don't know, a new job or a new career, it'll show up for you. All right.
But you have to have the confidence to show up. A lot of people end up successful because they merely showed up. Ask Janessa. She always says that I just showed up. Showed up.
Andrew says, could you message her? If that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. He wouldn't normally do that. Can I just say Ange? So if he does message you, it's special, right?
yeah. That's why I'm like, okay.
I know it's normally the other way around in that. Usually, Ange, come on, show up. Show up. All right, everybody. I'm going to say lots and lots of love. Have a great evening and stuff. Lance, thank you so much for
having me.
And enlightening us with the quantum shift. It could be a movement. This. Do you know that?
Yeah, it should be.
All right then. Lots of love, everybody. Bye. Bye. Bye.